Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here. Welcome to another Etheria restart video, and today we are going to talk about the blessings galore. Okay, this is one of the most important event coming up, and that is the 2x event, which will take place on the 21st of June, and all of the drops are going to be doubled from investigations, threshold, as well as GP outposts. Now, I played through this in the previous closed beta, so I'm fully aware of everything that you need to know about the game during the 2x drop event, and I'm going to show you some little tips and tricks that you can use when you're going through stamina refills, especially in the next 2 days before the event drops, and as well as showing guys where are the best places to farm, because in my previous video I did some testing, and yes, this is, in my opinion, one of the most important early game events, especially for free-to-play players and small spenders, because the amount of gears as well as materials you'll get from this will really propel your account forward in comparison to someone that does not benefit from the 2x event. Well, first things first, let's talk about when this starts. So on the 21st of June UTC +8, this event is set to start and will last for 2 days. So it's not a very long event, and you are essentially going to have to stamina dump quite a lot during this, all right? And this will apply to investigations, threshold, as well as GP outposts. Now, in the previous event that was on the in the closed beta server, I recall that essentially this was in sequence, as in you had a stage open, for example investigations, that had the x2, and then later on threshold, and then GP outposts. But for this, it's all going to be at the same time, which means that it's even more important for you guys to understand where you should be dumping your stamina, and make sure you are redeeming this code, which obviously gives you some stamina pot as well. Okay, so before we jump into the stages and where you should farm, if there's one thing you take away from this video, is to make sure that you are saving at least a day ahead if you're max refilling. Okay, and what this means is that the stamina capacity of this goes to 9,999. So for example, for me, I'm gonna save 2 days worth, because the trade-off is about 328 or something like that in terms of natural refill stamina every single day, right? You're losing out on that because you're max refilling, and your stamina, because it's overcapped, it will not regenerate. But still, it is worth doing that over obtaining the natural stamina, because every stamina you spend in the 2x event farming these stages we talked about is doubled, right? So what I'm going to do is that today I'm going to let my natural stamina refill all the way to the max, and you can see in the union I have waited before we collected the check-in as well for the 100 stamina, and I'm just essentially at reset of tomorrow I will be max refilling everything, right? So this will get me 1,000 stamina, and I will be also capped at 180 right here, and on top of that another 100 from the guilds. That's 280 plus 1,000, so 1,300. And moving into the day after, I will lose 1 day of natural gain stamina, and then refill again, max refill again for the next day, which puts me at about 3,000, almost 3,000 stamina moving into x2. And not to mention, I do have 29 stam pots as well. So yeah, you definitely want to maximize your stamina usage, because I believe if people have been saving since day one, you should be sitting at around 50 to 55 stamina pots, which again, 2x return on every single stamina is absolutely insane. So make sure you are doing that, and don't forget to do the quest as well, because for the daily quest, because you're not spending stamina for the next 2 days, yeah, it's gonna be a bit challenging. And while that is happening, it's a good downtime to do any sync to Ethernet rally. It has some stamina there, and do all of the other events, and yeah, it's a very nice quiet time and downtime for you guys to do that. Now, with regards to your stages, I would only start saving these stamina if you already know where you are going to farm. For example, if you take my modules, in terms of my Infernal Clears, I can full auto Termaton as well as Doki. I haven't worked on my Aurora Bunch, which I'll prioritize probably on the last day of x2, but for my Termaton, Doki, I stopped using stamina essentially right after I figured out my auto team, which is about 80 to 90%. I'll post a link to the auto team later on when I'm farming, to show you guys how I run these auto teams on Inferno. But yeah, these two teams I've now got autoed, and then for the shell, I have the I've essentially done shell farming all the way before the x2 event, because the x2 event does not include shells. Now, if you take a look at what they have said here, right, because it's investigation, threshold, and cheap outposts, your XP, your GP, and your threshold. It does not include shells. So you want to get your shell farming out of the way so that during the X2 event, you're just sitting in these. Now, it might be very obvious as you're going through this. It's like, okay, I'm just going to dump every single stamina in modules, right? Because, hey, this game is very gear focused, and I definitely lean gear. Now if you take a look at my old replay, you can see that the difference right off the bat is for the event we have, everything's going to be X2 here, whereas in the CBT I think it opens sequentially, as I've mentioned before, but here everything is going to be open, so you want to make sure you're aware of what to choose. Now this is a 10-win run from EXP. You can see that I did get pull currencies as well, and they can be doubled. Not to mention there are gem drops in that, so you can get gems as well as pearl currency from the EXP event. Now, going back to the topic of where to farm, I think a lot of people will think right away, yeah, Infernal or Hell 4, Hell 3 farming modules is the way to go. I'm going to sit there all day. But to be honest, personally for me, I actually will spend some time in investigations for EXP as well as GP Outposts, because remember the priority in terms of upgrades, right? We talked about it before. Gear is random in the sense that it has to drop the right gear, and also it's a lottery to roll on the substats as well. But what's guaranteed is going to be the shells that you get. Okay, it's a little less RNG because you can upgrade the shells and they will of course give you the correct stats from the shell. You just have to reroll the little subs it provides. But most importantly, levels, getting the characters to 5-star, getting the characters 6-star, and GP Outposts to upgrade the skill is super important. Now we're always short on these skill mats, in my honest opinion. And for example, right now I'm trying to raise Messiah, or I'm trying to get Rosa ready for the upcoming Aurora Inferno team. I need these materials, and honestly, the X2 event is a godsend. So I'll actually be spending some time in EXP and GP Outposts to make sure I have my main team ready. You want to have your main characters at least the DPS 6-star and everyone else 5-star, right? It's very important to get these star levels up, and even more important if you're using characters that you know, have their core mechanics behind certain levels, get them leveled up. Look, Valerian has to have level 5 on the S3, or it's gonna be very difficult to ensure that your first cheat death is activated. So again, super important, and you need to farm the GP Outpost for that, okay? And the stats, not to mention, provided from the skill upgrades is also very nice. So EXP and GP Outpost is going to be where I'll actually spend quite a bit of stamina, and then once I've got my main team set up, whether it be, you know, my core teams for the Aurora farming, my core teams for some of the shell farming I need, and also unlocking the skills for GVG, GVE, and other PvE content, then I will go back and start my module farming. And because I've done my Terramaton full auto team and I've done my Infernal Doki Doki auto team, I'm ready and I can just slot everything in and let it run. And not to mention, in this event, the gears are doubled, but also the gold is doubled as well. So you definitely want to sit in the various stages and make sure you're gaining full benefit from this. And yeah, it's gonna be a very long time, because all in all, this is what, 2,900 plus 2 days is another 2,000, right? 2,500 something, plus this amount I saved out, almost 3,000. So this is, we're looking at almost like 8,000 worth of stamp to dump. 8 to 9,000. So that's a lot of stamp. And if you are, you know, a stamp pot hoarder, you'd be looking at over 10,000, I would say, stamina on top of the refreshes. And for those of you that are free to play or not even refreshing normally day to day, make sure you refresh it in the X2 event, because essentially you're paying half price on your refresh. So yes, that is my honest review of the X2 event. Honestly, it's so important, and it gets you so much progress in terms of the amount of resources it gives. And yeah, it's only lasting for 2 days, so it's going to be pretty short. So best utilize that and make sure you take full advantage, going over and dumping it on EXP, dumping it on GP Outpost to make sure your key team members are ready. And then once they are built, and you just dump the rest into the modules, the highest level you can, okay? Because sometimes after you level the creators, after you rank up their skills, you'll find yourself pushing a bit further in terms of the modules as well. So hopefully that will unlock even better drops for you. But anyhow, Let me know your thoughts on the X2 event and how you're approaching this. Yeah, make sure you utilize the stamina saving technique, and even if you forgo some of the EXP gain from the natural stamina, the X2 reward is just so much greater. All right. Well, once again, thank you so much for watching this video, and it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you in the next one. And goodbye now.